Welcome to Retrained Search, the podcast, where we lift the lid on what it's really like to work retained, discuss the stories we've gathered along the way, and give you all a peek behind the scenes of our amazing community and how they're getting ahead. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Retained Search show. As we've now decided to call it. And I've just said to Jordan, oh, shall I go put some lipstick on? And he said, nah, I'm not.
No, not today.
Really
That's strictly for weekends. Strictly for weekends.
Do you watch Strictly?
I don't. No, I don't watch TV anymore.
You just watch football?
I watch a lot of sport, and then recently there's a new thing on Sky called The Day of the Jackal.
Oh, I've seen that advertised.
Very good. Yeah,
it looks good. Did you watch Slow Horses when that was on?
No, you told me to.
Oh God, that's good.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah, it's good. Anyone that's watched Slow Horses that think George should watch it, then send him a message and tell him it's really good.
Yeah.
And my brother's just started watching it. He's hooked.
Yeah, I need to start. I'm going to apologise if there's any weird grimaces. It's not something Lou's just said. I slipped a disc in my back at the weekend. So it's a painful few days. Yesterday.
You did it playing tennis, didn't you? Did you?
Did.
Yeah.
Did
you win the point?
Yeah, honestly, it was such a great shot. It really was. I'd spent all day like a bit uncomfortable in my back, and because I'm so tall, I'm 6'5", I do have some back issues like every now and again. And I thought I just slept funny on it, and I probably shouldn't have played tennis in hindsight, but at the time I wasn't thinking in that way. So I played tennis, and they served that wide to my forehand, and they hit this big forehand, and the minute I hit it, I went, oh no.
Oh God.
Oh, I spent the weekend like crawling around the house.
Oh no.
And yesterday I had to get Becca to come and open the fridge to get the milk out. I weren't strong enough to open the fridge. And when I stopped for petrol, I didn't have enough power in my hand to squeeze the petrol pump. So I had to get the guy to come out of the shop and put the petrol in the car for me.
I'm laughing, but it sounds awful.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm so sorry for you.
It settles down over the course of a week or so. But
and you have to have tummy time, don't you?
I've been doing our team calls and laying on my stomach with 2 pillows under me, as advised by the physio. So it's been an interesting few days.
Oh, bless you. I almost fell over in tennis the other day. That's the first time I've almost fallen over. And that's like, I obviously don't run around as much as I should. I went sliding. We've got these like artificial, as you know, because you played on the like artificial grass and artificial clay, and it's very sandy, and they've just re-sanded them, and you can just like slide around all over the place. Well, I don't. All the guys do. They go sliding in for the shots. And I don't. I kind of potter up to it and then stop.
The fool's game, the slide. I don't move fast enough to slide.
Oh, don't you?
Now, every time I've tried to slide,
thought...
I just don't know what it is. I just like don't go anywhere.
I see them sliding around all over the place. It's really cool to watch, but I'm not a slider. I just nearly did the splits. That's what happened to me. I did it with both feet.
The idea of the game is that I don't have to slide, and I make the other person do all of the sliding.
Right.
That's the plan, right? Surely. But I don't actually do. I just stand there and make them move. That should be.
You're a very, very good tennis player. So any tips I will take from you. We've been busy as well, haven't we? Jesus, and so have our community. Our members have been super busy. So let's share some of the stuff that's been going on. I love this. I had a wonderful conversation with one of our members who joined us, would have been a couple of years ago now. She was completely contingent, quite frustrated, should we say, and not enjoying the contingent model at all. Her own very small business. And she sent me this wonderful message. I hope you're well, had a good weekend. I booked time with you 2 weeks today in the hope of discussing joining Search Mastery. And to join Search Mastery, you need to be 50% at least retained. So that was a nice little green flag for me, because I thought she must have been doing really well. Then she goes on to say, having had the most successful 6 months of my career, I'm conscious that you and Retrained helped turn my business around, equipping me with the tools to become a genuine search partner. I'm so grateful for your guidance and would like to continue to be part of the community, and I want to scale and would like your advice on how best to do so. If there's space in the next cohort, I want to learn more about it. And that was a few days ago, and she is now a part of Search Mastery, and I'm so excited to be helping her
And
on the
she's
next
coming to
stage.
see us in
She's
London.
coming to Richmond. Yeah, we've got an in-person event going on
I was about to say in a
in
few months.
in a
Where
few
has
months.
the year
Jesus,
gone?
no, it's like in
In a
3
few
weeks'
weeks.
time. The 9th and 10th of December in Richmond, just outside London, not far from Heathrow. If you are 50% retained and you want to sit in a room full of other global search experts, leaders, business owners, business leaders, and learn more about growing, scaling, getting better, and mastering your craft, please get in touch and I'll tell you all about it.
I've done a lot of retained over the years and it still blows my mind every time I sit in that room. Some of the stuff
Yeah,
that's
it's
said
incredible.
is just, yeah, it is gold
It's
dust.
so incredible. I
Mm.
love bringing the people together and watching them all learn from each other. This is cool, isn't it, George?
Yeah, this is Harriet. So Harriet said, we were holding off on posting this until contracts were signed, but we're excited to announce that in the last few weeks, we've taken on 3 new searches, all higher up
Yay!
the value
Higher up the
chain.
value chain. She's
Which,
been
when did
working her
Harriet
way
have this
up.
conversation with you, Lou? Probably a month ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah, we put a real push on. So Harriet's in the mastermind group. Put a real push on moving up the value chain about 6 weeks ago. She
Yeah.
says this shift has nearly doubled our average fee already. Yeah, about 6 8 weeks, meaning that we now have to work on half the number of searches to achieve the same results. The first third of fees will be going out tomorrow, and it's more than we normally bill in a month. So we're thrilled. Massive thanks for your guidance and support. If there's any way I can return the favour, she's so generous. Let
Yes.
us let me know.
She helped me out by running the last 20 minutes of the co-op call
Oh,
yesterday so I could go to physio.
oh, bless her. She is so
Yeah,
good.
she's a superstar.
Tell us
She is.
about
Yeah,
this
this is
member.
Josh. The title is a bit misleading because he said successful retained process at last, and that implies that he's been struggling. He's not. He's been absolutely flying. But I think this is just one search where the delivery's dragged on a little bit. He said he's finally wrapped up a retainer which started all the way back in June. Fair to say this was a challenge with the recruitment freeze implemented by the client midway through and the
Mm,
holidays causing havoc. But we finally managed to get there with contract signs and start dates in place. To sweeten the deal, the client has actually ended up taking 2 people on from the search, despite only wanting one at the beginning, a nice additional 10K fee to make it feel worth it.
nice.
This is now the 7th retainer I've placed with this client since introducing them to the concept in December last year. Here's to a few more with them next year, hopefully.
Lovely. Very nice. Well
Oh, yeah.
done, Josh.
Yeah,
Very
well done.
good. Yeah, and this is Kelly. Kelly, I've been working with Kelly in the mastermind. She's already moved from contingent to fully retained. She
Yeah.
says first multi-hire campaign pitch. So we're working on going up value chain, winning bigger pieces of work, and she's got stuck straight in. This week, she says I attended a face-to-face meeting with a client who invited me in following the first retainer that she just completed for them. They want to work with me on a retained multi-hire campaign for new middle management tier that they're looking to put in. We discuss future pipelining and talent mapping, and this is brand new to Kelly. I'm absolutely delighted that she's already getting out there and talking about it. Just waiting on final confirmation for numbers of headcount and more clarity of geographics. So we put together a deck of how she was going to walk a client through this. But they want to get things started this side of Christmas.
So
Woo,
great.
woo. So
I,
excited.
no, I always think as well, I think it's easy for people to think people like Kelly achieving all this now can be a million miles away from some of the people listening. But I
Yeah.
remember when I first spoke to Kelly, and she was working for herself, fully contingent,
Mhm.
mid-level fees. Like she's been on such an amazing journey in such a short space of time.
Yeah, yeah. People surprise themselves, don't they? Oh my God, this absolutely melted my heart. I was so happy to see this.
I love Mary. If there's
I
one,
love
it
Mary.
sounds awful. I know we shouldn't have favourites. It's like your children, you shouldn't have
We've got
favourites.
loads of favourites
But
though,
I
haven't we?
really like Mary deserves everything that's going to come her way.
She was so green, wasn't she? She was a grad, I think, first into recruitment. I think she had like she'd been with Andrea about 3 months or something,
And
so fresh.
Andrea's awesome, isn't she? Like she's
Andrea
really
is
experienced,
absolutely
really
awesome,
good.
but Mary was freshly hatched,
Yeah.
literally had no experience at all. And Andrea put her on the course with her. They did it together. And Mary, God, it was like drinking from a fire hose for her. There was so much for her to learn. And she did so well. She threw herself in and straight away she started diagnosing and pitching. But Andrea was always there to help her. And then out of the blue, we get this email, first retainer with no help in capital letters. She says, "Hi all, I miss you both. How are things? I'm smiling writing this right now because I got my first retainer by myself without any help along the way from a cold call." She's so excited in capital letters and wanted to share and thank you for all your help along the way. And Mary is going to be an absolute superstar. So yeah, even those of you that are really new to the industry, like don't let that stop you. Don't let that
Yeah, I
stop
mean,
you.
I remember one coaching session where Mary and Andrea were on it. They were handling objections, and I remember Mary answered this objection. I could see it in Andrea's face. It was like, yeah, maybe I just let Mary do this from now on
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that was really, really good.
I remember listening to them pitch and thinking, shit, Mary's actually better in
Yeah,
many ways than Andrea because she just absorbed it. She hadn't got
so
any kind of bad habits or anything.
yeah.
And I said, you know what? I think you should, both be pitching together, split it in half and get Mary
Mm,
to do one half and you do the Andrea's like, but she's only just started. I said, it's fine. She's good enough.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah, this is nice, isn't it?
Oh, this makes me proud.
Oh,
It's
bless
great, isn't
you.
it?
You read it out.
So this Mike is based out in Florida. Um, he's promised me to get me on TPC Sawgrass Golf Course if I'm ever local, which is a
I
big,
don't
big
know what
deal,
that
by the way.
means, but if it makes you
It's a big
happy, that's
deal.
good.
So he said, celebrating a different type of win. As a result of being a student of this wonderful community, I'd like to share my latest win and something a little bigger than a deal. I'm thrilled to announce a major addition to my business. Another of our members has joined him as a vice president and director of search. They both met in this program, and 7 months later, that person's made him work for it, but he's elated to make this announcement. I'm incredibly proud to appoint him into this influential leadership position where he will oversee and improve the execution of our headhunting services. His passion for helping people advance in their careers and his dedication to doing what's best for all involved make him an invaluable addition to our team. Welcome. Here is to a wonderful future filled with success, growth, and transformative recruitment.
Nice. I love it.
Got
Changing bloody lives, George.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But I think what that made me think is how so many of the people that join us have the same frustrations, the same
yeah.
mindset, though, the same approach to wanting to
Yeah.
solve problems for customers and provide great
Mm,
service.
mm,
I'm not surprised that that type of things happen. That type of
yeah.
thing happens because they both view things in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I get that in the mastermind. They're like, we've got a group all in a similar market, but complementing locations, and they're forming like an alliance. It's incredible. It's so good. This is a real nice one as well. From
Mm.
Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ryan says
Ryan.
2 big wins. Just issued a shortlist fee for one country manager search, the one at 40%, and won an even bigger general management search against two Shreks. I almost flopped the pitch, but Jordan helped me stay the course. Thank you, Jordan. Do you give him a hand? Do you give him a steer on it?
Yeah, he
No,
doesn't. Ryan doesn't need much steering.
no, he
I think
doesn't. He's very good
sometimes
now.
it's just like a sense check,
Yeah.
right? And telling him to stick with it.
He says, sometimes I wish I was moving faster. And I read that and I'm like, fucking hell, how much faster does he want to be moving? Like he's absolutely flying. I saw others in the program pitching and winning much faster and more frequently than I did in the beginning stages. But I'm reminded that everyone has their own story. And ultimately, in Lou Archer's words, professional persistence pays off. And that is absolutely true. So if you find yourself comparing with others, remember you're carving your own unique path. So stay true to you and trust the process.
It's like a
Great
sensei.
advice. He is,
Right, he's like
yeah.
Yoda.
Oh, and there's a little one I noticed, so I just scoop this one up and pop this one in to share with you. Tracy dropped Sarah a message to say, I've got a meeting from my message you helped me with on Friday. Yay, yay, yay.
Does
Thank you,
that come from the
Sarah.
marketing, from Sarah's marketing?
Yes, yeah, it's from
Nice,
Sarah's marketing course, which I
nice.
love. Those of you externally won't know because it's only offered to our internal, our existing members at the moment, which is our retrained marketing and automation course program, which Sarah is a coach in, our head of marketing, who does all our marketing. So if you hear our marketing, you like our marketing, and you think, shit, that's really good, then Sarah's the one to follow. And she's building her, which is now like, what, a third, 2/3 built, and people winning from it already.
Yeah.
So this is the bit where we share with our listeners the stuff that we've been helping people with. And I found that recently the main topic for people wanting help is BD recently. Right. And so I've been doing a lot of work with my mastermind members on focusing on BD between now and the end of the year to make sure next year's pipeline of meetings, of introductions, of diagnostics, and ultimately work is really solid, and there's plenty of activity going on. So with quite a few of my members, we've been going back to focusing on identifying the targets. And in some cases, some of the industries were shifting around a little bit. Things like the election in the US has had an impact on a couple of markets over there. Green energy, clean tech being one of them. That's just like out the window all of a sudden. And so having to like move into allied industries.
I saw a really funny video. Have you seen the video of Donald Trump talking about electric tanks?
No.
But I'm not involved. There's no political bias. I'm not involved in that at all. But it really tickled me. He was talking about electric tanks. And he was like, yeah, we're going to push electric tanks. So, when we're in all these far-flung countries and we're blowing the hell out of them, we can make sure we're taking care of their environment.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, I was just like, really tickled me when I watched it. I was like, this guy is absolutely nuts.
He is nuts, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we're expressing political opinions there, so we probably shouldn't be.
I mean, nuts in terms of personality. I have no axe to grind either way in US politics.
So back to BD. So we've been then either re-identifying targets or shifting identification into allied or parallel markets, and being really systematic about identifying those targets that have got some kind of link somehow, somewhere to something we've done before, or somewhere we've worked before, or people we've worked with before, and then systematically identifying the people within those businesses, and then identifying where their probable pain is. And with a few of my members, we've been getting really deep on working out where their probable pain might be by spending a bit of time like walking in their shoes. It's been transformative for some people. And I've just come off a call with Mark, who's just secured like 5 meetings for the next few weeks because he put together a piece that was based on the exercise that I got him to do. And the exercise that I've been getting them to do is the same as the exercise that I've been one of the many, many, many things I've been doing as part of this Goldman Sachs course that I'm doing. As some people will know, I'm harping on about it all the bloody time because it's so good. It's really hard work, but it's very, very good. And what the marketing, one of the tools in the marketing is a customer empathy map, which is, I mean, actually, I can probably share one on the screen for those of you that have got, the video going on.
It's for added value.
Why not? Why not? It's very good. And they get you to think very carefully about your customers' pains and the challenges that they might be facing. To be fair, it's very similar to what Dave Wolstenholme got us to do at the beginning. And it's similar to the exercise that he got everyone to do at our event in Australia, which is get into a customer, think, well, what's his name? Where does he hang out? What does he do at the weekends, or she? And what do they have to achieve in their role? And that's exactly what this gets you to do. So you start with, who are you empathizing with? I think Dave picked an example of like a construction manager or a construction director.
Yeah, I remember.
And then what do they need to do? So they need to deliver the project on time, to budget. And you've got to empathize with like their pains or their problems. What do they see? I don't know. They see people getting nicked by the competition and leaving the project early, so he's got holes in his team, or they see people or things happening in the project that aren't being done right or not compliantly, or they see budgets slipping or whatever it might be, the problems. And then what do they say about that? What do they do about it? What are they hearing around them? So what are their pains and what are their gains? And I've been helping people, like showing them what ours looks like. So ours is, we're empathizing with leaders and managers of teams, of recruiters. They need to deliver revenue for the business and forecastability. They see people trying to win retained work and failing. They say, God, this is really frustrating. Make sure you get a retainer on that job. What do? They try and help the team, but they're not quite sure what to do to help. And what do they hear? They hear things like the internal retainer training's not working, or I'm frustrated, this fee's not going to come in, or they've got pressure from above saying, why are your forecasts so inaccurate from forecast to actual? And it gets you to really think about what their frustrations are so that you can create content on their journey that actually helps them to move forward in their role and in their position. So you're not just always going to them saying, how can I help you with your talent acquisition? You're actually sharing things, because we've realized that by helping people like you listening, like we'll do a free masterclass on something, or we'll give you a free download, and that actually helps you on your journey. So what can you do for your clients? I did this session with Sabrina, one of our members, who is doing the same thing. And she's realized that she works with a lot of micro, early stage founding businesses, which often have got good investment, they're backed, they've got the money. But their biggest problem is she'll get partway down a search with them, and then they'll go, actually, I don't know whether we need a COO. I think maybe we just need, a really decent finance director, and that plugs that gap. And actually, we probably just need an ops manager, not a COO.
Yeah.
So stop right there. Let's just go back a bit. And she's like, it's so frustrating. And they're all the same. None of them know what to hire or when. So I said, well, think about this journey. What can we do on that journey to help them with that problem? So we had a big brainstorm and we did this exercise, and we came up with, she can interview the people that have done it, have been on that journey, successfully navigated it, take all the learnings from those interviews and share those learnings with the new founders in clips, in downloads, in blogs, in do a masterclass, do a workshop, bring them together. Suddenly she's full of content that she can go and take to her clients.
Kind of what we do. It's kind of what we try and do with
very
the podcast,
much,
right?
Yeah, very much like what we do. And so and Paul Press, who's sorry, I'm full of energy and ideas and got so much going on. Paul, who's wonderfully a coach in our mastermind now and doing 250 to 350 grand a month in retained revenue, is an absolute machine and a master now of this. He was sharing exactly the same. I wasn't on that call that he did, but apparently in the collab call that he did last week, he was saying what's worked for him is this long game around what can he do to help them in their role, and share insights and share knowledge and share learnings and connect people. And that is now fruiting basically for him. So we've been really diligent about every stage of this, identifying the targets, identifying the people, identifying what the probable pains are, and then taking them on a journey of a consistent, like 12-step touch approach of LinkedIn, of an email, of sending an NPC, of sharing some insight, of sharing a case study. And it's working basically. But we also had a very good session with one of our, several, because we've got several teams going through the course now, of one of our best clients, didn't we? And you had quite, it was a bit of an awakening moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, it was on the topic of BD again. And I think there are kind of two sides, I think, to BD. There's kind of the skill and there's the will a little bit too. And often what I see is when people start trying to win more work on a retained basis, I've never seen people overthink things more. Like, it's everything that they've done in the past that has worked for them, though, they sometimes stop doing that as well. And this team had been doing some BD, and they've been using things like NPCs, most placeable candidates, as a means of generating conversation and opening doors to conversation. And I've been doing loads of BD, and what does loads of BD look like? Well, this month I've sent out 12. And like, no matter how good you are, sometimes I think there's a numbers game to this
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, definitely there is.
and he said to me, like, how many should it be? Like 30, 40? And I was like
120?
300,
Yeah.
400, like lots,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I suppose that's one of the biggest things that I've been working with that team on now is just upping the volume.
Oh, yeah.
But not doing it in a way that's scatty and all over the place, right? Like upping the volume in a way that's led by a process that's
Yeah.
consistent
Yeah.
and achievable,
Professionally
manageable.
persistent. That's where we come back to, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So any of you that are listening that want to start going and winning more retained work, if you have means of BD at the moment on a contingent basis that open doors for you, don't stop opening the doors.
Yeah, yeah,
You just need to change what we do when we go through the door.
Yeah, yeah, good. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. I love my remarkable. I think it's wonderful, and as I should say, that's what I've noticed. Rebecca does that. She doesn't say but anymore, does she?
Reframe it. Good catch. Good catch.
And I do find it frustrating when it switches itself off or runs out of battery because paper doesn't do that.
Yeah,
there is a drawback.
I use an iPad instead of a remarkable, and I find it remarkable how poor the battery life is. I have to say,
the remarkable battery is actually very good.
I charge it overnight and then I do one Zoom call. And I'm like, what, 8%? I've done one Zoom call. How am I on 8%?
But we don't really need to take notes anymore, do we? Because we have wonderful Fathom.
Note takers. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Anyway, I just have my notes to keep me on track. Controversy. That's the one. You're on it.
So I've got one. Yes. So I had a call this week with a recruiter who said something that blew me away. It blew my mind. So this recruiter works for a well-established firm. My understanding is they do some contingent and they do some retained, but they do quite a lot of retained, right? It's not a concept that's new to them. This person has taken over a search from another consultant. I don't know whether they've left or I don't know what's happened, but she's taken over this search and said it's a little bit of a nightmare. Like the client isn't in the habit of doing steering calls and they didn't want to rebrief her or anything like that. And frustratingly, she's been told when expressing her concerns by her boss to just work it contingently. And if the client gets upset and frustrated and it all ends up going to crap, then no problem. That's great. Just run away with the retainer.
Oh my God.
I was like, sorry, what? Like, repeat that for me. Oh
my God.
It. And isn't that the problem?
That isn't that the problem? Isn't that the problem? Like hearing that, I just think, oh my God almighty. That's why recruiters have got such a bad name. And that's why you meet so many people that go, yeah, I've tried retained. It was awful. I'm never doing that again. But then at the same time, it makes me see how much room there is for improvement. And those that do it properly, how we can stand out.
There aren't many of them that do properly.
No, there aren't many of them that do it properly.
It makes me laugh when I speak to people. Some people come to us and say, I've done no retained, and it's really clear why they need the help. They get it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I speak to people that say, yeah, our firm does loads of retained. We don't need help. And I'm thinking, you're probably one of the main ones that needs the help.
Yeah.
Like often there are so many improvements that can be made to an existing retained process.
Well, and no more than we worked with a firm in the US, didn't we, who were all retained, all 100% retained. Everything was retained. And it's all very well being able to say that, yeah, we're all retained. And people think, oh, right, you must be fine then. You must be fine. But in the same way that just getting the financial commitment doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't, getting the financial commitment or the money up front from the client doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to be able to fill the position.
No.
It's the process that you put in place that means that you're going to be. It's the same for a business. Just because you're all retained doesn't mean that you haven't got all these problems with delivery, the length of time it takes to deliver, finding candidates, and so often when we're working with a firm that's already got a retained process in place, it's worse than as if they hadn't got a retained process in place, because they've got that financial commitment and then they haven't got a rigor and a framework around the delivery, so that there's a handle on how long it takes.
It's just been botched together over a period of years. Like, how do we get through it? And the way I see it, I love my analogies. It's like if I stuck someone on a car park in a car that couldn't drive, and I put them there for 10 hours a day for a couple of weeks. After a couple of weeks, they could probably drive that car. They'd figure it out. They'd be able to drive from A to B. But if you put them with a proper driving instructor after 3 months, having self-learned,
be out in 5 minutes.
Oh my God, you're not safe. Why are you not checking your blind spot there? Why are you not doing that? Like, you are going to die.
But Andy, just cut the time down, don't you? Massively. Yeah. Because one of the biggest frustrations that I see of people that have been putting in a retained model in and not quite sure what they need to be mindful of is that projects just go on and on and on. Yeah. And the problem with that is you end up with some financial commitment. So you're committed to it. So you can't just walk away from it. Although by the sounds of it, some people do, which is horrific. But you can't just walk away from it because of your reputation and you've got that financial commitment. And yet you can't fill it. So that's a worse position than if it was contingent, because you could just go. You haven't got a commitment.
You've got commitment, but your profit margins are squeezed.
Just getting eroded away, and that's what happens, and that's why they end up coming to us, because the profit margins are getting really eroded by projects that just go on and on and on that they can't put down because they've got a relationship with the clients and it's too valuable.
And then it becomes difficult to make sustainable because all your consultants are saying, I really don't want to do that again.
And they don't want to take retainers because it's god awful and it takes forever. It's like a ball and bloody chain.
Yeah.
So if you hear someone say we're all retained, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're having a good time. And if you're out there and you are struggling or, maybe having frustrations with a model that isn't quite optimized for, profitability, then we've got a lot of experience of that.
And if anyone ever tells you to just deliver it contingently,
my God,
please don't do that.
Don't do that.
I was once told that, but was very lucky to have Louise on the other shoulder saying, no, do not do that.
No way. No way are you going to do that. And so, I wanted to do a little piece on mindset, and that is touching on what I was saying before, which is just spend in times where it's a little bit quieter, where just asking clients for have they got any needs and what do they need help with from a talent acquisition perspective. It doesn't feel like the right thing to do because there's only so many times you can ask them that. Spend a bit of time in their shoes and thinking about what they need to achieve in their role and their position, and what can you actually help them with constructively because of who you know, or because of what you're exposed to, or because of connections you can make, because of knowledge that you can, you can draw from one place and then impart to another. That's actually going to help them move forward on that journey, and therefore move forward on their buying journey with you, because it does two things. It moves them forward, and it also puts you as a position as a trusted advisor of someone that knows and is out in the market and providing this kind of information. And do as much of that as you can, and it will pay you back in spades.
It will. It will.
So that's it from us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, George. Nice to see you.
Go back to tummy time.
Back to tummy time. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
See you soon.
Well, that's another episode of Retrain Search, the podcast in the bag. Thanks for listening to our wild tales, LinkedIn controversies, and our top tips on how to sell and deliver retained search. Get involved in our next episode. Send in your questions and share your experiences with us by emailing podcast@retrainedsearch.com. And don't be shy. Connect with us on LinkedIn and come and say hi. We don't bite, unless you're a Shrek firm, that is. We want to say a special thank you to our retrained members for sharing what's working for them right now and innovating new ways to grow and evolve. It's an incredible community. If you're wondering what exactly we mean when we mention our communities, well, we have two separate programs. Our Search Foundations program is for recruiters who want to learn how to sell and deliver retained search solutions consistently. And we have our Search Mastery program. That's for business leaders or owners already at 50% retained or more and looking to scale and grow and structure their search firm. We cap memberships to these programs to protect the integrity of the community. If you want access, just talk to us. Okay, thanks for listening. We'll be back very soon with another episode of Retrain Search, the podcast.